Good evening, folks, and a very, very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and is always the case every week, I am your host for this week's show. It's episode 187, which means 11 episodes in season 2025. Yes, the season is almost getting towards its halfway mark. And speaking of the season and the halfway mark, tonight we're going to catch up with a very special guest. He's a first-year coach. He's only a young fella, and he still plays in the senior team. And, of course, we are speaking about Barwon Soccer Club's senior men's coach, JESSE DIDULICA. He will be talking to us about the season so far, how it's gone for the Barwon Soccer Club in the new revamped Division 6, State League Men's Division 6 competition. He'll be joining us a little bit later on in the show. Also, tonight we've got a big announcement to make. We talked about it, or we mentioned it on social media earlier today. Stick around for that. We'll be making an announcement about that. Good, bad, well, you be the decider, the decider of that. What else have we got? We got lots and lots of football action from the weekend just gone by, and that's going to be coming up in our news desk very shortly. But a big shout out before we proceed to our volunteers, because it is National Volunteer Week. So to everyone involved at all of the clubs around the region, whether they are coaches, whether they are officials, in some cases players, most of them play for free, basically. So I guess they're volunteers as well at their clubs in many, many ways. But definitely it's all the people behind the scenes, in the club rooms, in the kitchen, in the bar, in the boardroom, team managers, soccer parents, soccer mums, soccer dads. All of those people can certainly be considered volunteers. And this is your week, National Volunteer Week, from the 18th until the 24th. And under the theme, Your Year to Volunteer, it is an important moment to reflect on the people who quietly but powerfully hold our football community in Geelong together. I agree to that, that's for sure. Well, on that note, we'll be taking a very, very short news break. And also, now that we're giving shout-outs and plugs to all of our business advertising sponsors, unfortunately, this year we weren't able to attract a major sponsor. So all of those little businesses, the mum and dad businesses that have supported us and sponsored us, they keep the show going. Now, folks, we've attracted a couple of new sponsors this week, but we're probably looking at about a total of 18 episodes in total that we've got funded. At the moment, this is our 11th episode. So big shout out to Kerber Coaching Geelong, who are in effect our major sponsor this year. They're a major business advertising sponsor. To Furphy, who used to be known as, they've undergone a rebrand, a rename. They used to be known as Geelong Galvanising. And, of course, Elephant and Castle, Mario Gregorio, a massive, massive supporter of the show. Folks, we're going to take a short break. When we return, it's time for the news desk.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
And welcome to the news desk. Yes, we're in a new studio this week, and doesn't it look very ultra modern? Well, let's turn our attention straight away to what is happening this week. And obviously, a little bit later on tonight's show, we've got the head coach of the Barwon Soccer Club's senior men's team, JESSE DIDULICA. He'll be joining us that little bit later on. Alrighty, let's turn our attention straight away to the top of the tree. It's the Victorian Premier League Division 1 competition. Unfortunately for North Geelong, the Warriors lost to their bogey team, Lang Warren. It's in fact 4-2 that was a result. Nepa Machuno scored in the 12th minute, Cassian Angel in the 19th minute, and North Geelong, as a result, drops down to 8th position. 6 wins, 7 losses this year in 13 rounds. The halfway mark of the season well and truly achieved for the Warriors. The good news is they're certainly looking like they can compete in Division 1 after getting promoted from VPL 2 last year. The bad news is after one stage in the top 3, they've dropped to a mid-table position. Well, it's a big game this week, and it's an unusual time slot. This Sunday, May 24, the North Geelong Warriors travel to Tom Set Stadium to take on the Melbourne Knights in the big Croatian derby. Game kicking off at 3 p.m, and no doubt that is going to attract a big crowd, a big stage, a former NPL, in fact, a former NSL venue. It's always a thrill for the players to be playing in front of a big crowd at such a stadium. But the Knights, they got relegated from the NPL division last year, and they are currently sitting on in top spot. 9 wins and 1 draw and 3 losses so far. And one of those 3 losses was inflicted on them by the Warriors themselves in round 1, when that was a 1-0 win to North Geelong Warriors. Patrick Wall scoring on that day, I do believe. In VPLW action, there were no games played this week. It was a catch-up round. So this week we see round 10. And on Sunday, Geelong Galaxy United, who are in 4th position, they take on 12th placed Banyule City. Now on paper, it should be an easy win. But the game at Bannockburn Recreation Reserve, which kicks off at 3 p.m, you never know, because you can always, you don't want to underestimate anyone, that's for sure, as far as ladder positions are concerned. But an important game for Galaxy, who are actually having a very, very good year this year. So let's hope that can continue as well. On to men's state league action. Round 8 was played over the weekend. Geelong Soccer Club came away from Ardea Reserve with a 4-1 win over Westgate to cement their spot up on the top of State League 1. Mathul Koué scoring. He scored now a goal in the last 4 matches, so he's in super fine form. Then we've got Olavo Dandrado Santos scoring also. Well, he scored 2 goals this week, and Captain Rory McKeon also scored 1 goal. In State League 2 action, all the Geelong teams played away. Geelong Rangers drew with Albion Rovers 0-0. Surf Coast suffered a 0-2 loss at the hands of Altona North. And Corio, from all accounts, they've got a new coach, and that will become a little bit more made official probably by next week. But a familiar face to the region. A 3-0 win by Corio against Brimbank Stallions at the Italian club in Brimbank. Dragos Mamaliga scored 1, Charlie Bullock scored 1, and Jaden Pissick also scored 1. So well done to Corio, their first win of the season against the Brimbank Stallions. In State League 4 action, Bell Park defeated Barnstoneworth United 2-1. Nicholas Bardic scoring both those goals, and one of those goals was an absolute cracker. And if you head over to the Bell Park Facebook page, they've got the footage, the highlights footage courtesy of the club's VO camera. In State League 5, Moonee Valley Knights defeated the Deakin Ducks 4-2, Sam Wyeth scoring, and so too did Jeremiah Jacoby. That's Jacoby's seventh goal of the season, Wyeth's 6th goal of the season. So those two are really doing well for the Ducks. But unfortunately for the Deakin Ducks, they weren't able to ensure that the Ducks came away from the Moonee Valley Knights game with all 3 points in tow. Melbourne City defeated Lara United 5-3, a much improved performance by Lara United apart from last week. Taron Harvey scored, I do believe that may well be his debut senior goal, youngster who's come up through the ranks at Lara. Emmanuel Match and Alex Pino also scoring for Lara. In State League 6, Barwon defeated Docklands Athletic 1-0. Now, this is an incredible result because basically Docklands were in second position and had not lost a game. Nathan Nidzwitsky scoring in the 25th minute. And speaking of Barwon Soccer Club, of course, we'll be catching up with the head coach of the senior men's team, JESSE DIDULICA, a little bit later on in the show. Finally, in State League 6, Ocean Grove defeated Hume Bulls, which was the top team prior to this. So what a win that was against the Bulls. Jack Banks, David Favetta, Patrick Scusa, and Oliver Hunniford all scoring a goal apiece. Now, Favetta has now scored 7 goals, 4 goals in just the last 3 games. So he's in red-hot form at the moment. If we have a look at the fixtures, for the round 9 fixtures for this weekend coming, Geelong hosting Clifton Hill at Winslow Stadium at 6 p.m. on Saturday night. It's first versus 8th. Once again, on paper, you'd think Geelong would do very well, and they should, but you don't want to underestimate any team, particularly in any of the State League competitions. In State League 2, all the Geelong clubs are now all at home this weekend. Rangers come up against 10th place Brimbank Stallions, who lost to Coria, so the Rangers will be hoping to inflict another loss on the Stallions. Coria have got a tough game where they come up against Altona North at Hume Reserve. That game kicking off at 3 p.m. Of course, Altona North defeated Surf Coast. They're in 6th position. Coria still at the foot of the competition standings. Torquay's New Flow Stadium will be the host of will be the venue for a very important game. Surf Coast in 3rd, who have dropped to 3rd, taking on 4th place Western Eagles. Yes, of course, the Eagles will want to do very well in this game and overtake Surf Coast, but Surf Coast will want to maintain pace with the top 2 teams in State League 2, FC Strathmore and Williamstown. So a very important game happening there at New Flow Stadium. Western Eagles, the Polish-backed club, they've got a little bit of a supporter base here in Geelong, and from what I'm told is after the game, they will be heading to the White Eagle Club in Breakwater for dinner. State League 4 action sees 8th place Point Cook host our 6th placed Bell Park. That game out Saltwater Reserve kicking off at 3 p.m. Over the page in State League 5, Deakin Ducks coming up against second last place Meadow Park at University Warm Ponds, kicking off at 3 p.m. And Lara United at home to 10th place Newport Storm at Lara Recreation Reserve. That game also at 3 p.m. Must-win game for both the Ducks if they want to keep in striking distance of that top position, or certainly the top 2 positions that eventually lead to promotion. And for Lara United also, they need to start winning games, and a game such as this one against Newport Storm is essentially a 6-pointer, because they need this win and they also need to inflict a defeat or loss on the Storm so that they can start moving their way up. In State League 6 action, Ocean Grove travel to 3rd place Docklands Athletic at the Ron Barassi Reserve, which kicks off at 3 p.m, 3rd versus 10th. And top team Maidstone United host our Barwon Soccer Club, 1st versus 6th at Scoville Reserve, game kicking off at 5:15 p.m. In Women's State League action, North Geelong Warriors hosted Caroline Springs George Cross, and in a very, very high-scoring affair. Unfortunately, the Warriors went down to George Cross 3-5. Louisa Kump, Nagiko Chiba, and Evie Chorsic scoring the goals apiece there. Chiba has scored 4 goals this season. Kump has scored 3 goals, and it was young Chorsic's first goal. And dare I say, it may well be her senior debut goal as well, to be confirmed. If anyone out there is in Warrior Land and they are tuning in, do let us know if that is the case. In round 5 action this weekend on Sunday, Altona City hosting North Geelong Warriors at Kim Reserve, and that game kicking off at 3 p.m. Altona City are in 4th position, currently undefeated, 2 wins and 2 draws. And North Geelong, apart from 1 win, they've had 3 losses. So they are currently in 7th position, looking to move their way up the standings. Now, on the weekend, locally, the 4th round and the final round of the grading phase was conducted. So we now have a fairer idea of what the competition is going to look like this year. Now, tonight they're going to have the online competition review, I'm told, at Football Victoria. And then over the next couple of days, stay tuned to the football or to the Dribble website, the Football Victoria Dribble website, or you can even go onto footballgeelong.com. And the competition structures will be out and the fixtures, no doubt. So hopefully that will be done sooner rather than later. We won't be waiting until the very, very last moment towards the end of the week. Rather, we'll have a fair idea of what the competitions are going to look like. But here we are looking at the leading teams after the after round 4 of the grading phase in the senior men's competition, Pool 1. Group A, Barwon Soccer Club on 12 points. In second, you had Golden Plains with 9 points. In Group B, Surf Coast and Armstrong both had 9 points. In Group C, Geelong Rangers and Bell Park both had 6 points. In Pool 2, Group D, Barwon Heads led with 9 points. In Group E, the Barwon Heads and Bellarine Sharks both led with 9 points. And finally, in Group F, Geelong Soccer Club and the Deakin Ducks were the leaders with 3 wins from their 4 games. In the women's section, there are 3 groups in the same pool. In Group A, we had Surf Coast finished on top with 12 points, perfect score there. And in second and in third, respectively, Lara United and Golden Plains with 6 points apiece. In Group B, you had Ocean Grove on top, also with 12 points, perfect start to their season. In second place, you had Deakin Ducks with 9 points. Group C saw Bell Park top the standings with 12 points, 4 wins from 4 games. Barwon Soccer Club in second position. So I dare say that there you're looking at Division 1 there with 7 teams, and will they probably add another team to make it 8 teams in total? We'll see what happens in that case. Yes, so well, that is it for the news desk. When we return after this short break, we will be catching up with our first guest for tonight, our only guest for this week. In fact, the head coach of the Barwon Soccer Club senior men's team, JESSE DIDULICA. Stay tuned for that, folks. You've known us previously as Geelong Galvanising. For over 30 years, our team has specialised in delivering high-quality surface finishes for steel installations and products in the construction, landscaping and engineering industries. That's not changing. What is changing? We're making things more official. The company formerly known as Geelong Galvanising is now known simply as Furphy. If it's steel solutions you're after, you're in the right place. For all our customers, both old and new, this transition simply means more capabilities, more locations, and the same trusted experience. We're still here to deliver steel solutions for a brighter tomorrow. Only now, we're doing it under a name that's been part of our collective story in Australian manufacturing for over a century. For all your steel solutions, contact our Geelong office on 5275 7555 or email us at sales.geelong@furphy.com. Or pop in and see us. We're still at the same place at 360 Bacchus Marsh Road in Corio. And welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. It's time for our first guest tonight, and this is an interesting one. Certainly, someone I've been looking forward to speaking to for a while. He's a new coach, one of the growing breed of talented young players who are now becoming coaches as well on the Geelong football scene. And Barwon Soccer Club has certainly undergone its fair share of, fair share of readjustments over the last few years, and certainly this year is no exception. And with the new coach, a very, very young side, tonight. We're going to find out all that is happening at Grovedale Reserve. And on the line, we've got the head coach of the senior men's team, JESSE DIDULICA. Jesse, welcome to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast.
Thanks for having me, Tonchi. It's great to be here.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Well, what a great time to get you on the show, because on the weekend, not only did you have a win, which is fantastic, in State League 6 rather, but you inflicted the first defeat of the season on Docklands Athletic, 1-0. Tell us all about it.
Oh no, it was fantastic from start to finish. The guys came out and they played really, really hard. We managed to grab a goal, and 1-0 is probably a bit unfair on us. We should have had a couple more in the end. We fought really, really hard in the day, and it's added to the belief and the growing excitement around the place to take down second.
Yeah, Nathan Niedzwidzki, I hope I pronounced that one right. He scored in the 25th minute, and as you said, there were opportunities galore there to maybe make it even more than that. But that must really do. Look, it's a young side. Let's talk about the team as a whole. And first of all, how did you get into the gig?
Oh no, always standing in goal, you always see the whole game ahead of you.
Yeah, you do. That's
yeah. So seeing everything ahead of me all the time, you always think about what you do differently, because goalkeeping is very stop-start. There's a lot of downtime when you're goalkeeping. So you always think, we should be doing this a little bit different. Should be doing that a little bit differently. And then the position opened up, and I thought I'll just have a go at it. In whatever regard, I'd like to learn about the process. I'd like to get into coaching at some stage. Even if I start with the reserves or a younger team, I'm fine. I just want to learn what the process is and see what it's like going through all the steps. And Mark liked what I had to say, and we agreed on a few things, and here I am.
Yeah. Now this is really interesting because you're still playing. I mean, you're relative. You're quite young. You're 26, turning 27. I hear in 10 days' time.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, just around the corner.
That's around the corner. But you're obviously still young. You're still playing. Has coaching now transitioning into coaching as well? Has that had an impact on your own football? Like, has it improved it? Are you starting to analyse things a little bit differently as well?
I've certainly got a better kick on me now that I'm only serving them rather than trying to goalkeep as well.
Yeah.
No, it's good seeing it from a different angle. Seeing it from the side, it's certainly you don't appreciate it as much as you do when you're on the side, standing there. The view that you have is very, very different. So yeah, it's certainly a completely different perspective. It's also made playing a little bit different as well. Like, you get back out in the park and you're not used to being in front of the net again. So no, I played the first half in the reserves, kept myself a little bit match fit, and being out there again, it's like, it's completely different. I've got to find my markings again. I've got to approach this in a different mindset than the mindset that I've taken when I'm on the sideline.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because it's certainly something that probably augurs well for any goalkeeper, any young goalkeeper who's probably a teenager playing junior football. It's probably a great idea to maybe, if there's opportunity at your club, at your local club, to even coach, say, the mini roos or the juniors or something like that, and that immediately opens up your perspective as well. But it's a good point that you make about goalkeepers being able to see the whole field of play. And that's what they usually say about, like, centre-backs and defenders. Often they're the captains of the team because they kind of seem to see the whole field in front of them, and they usually have just the goalkeeper behind them. But I mean, it must be a natural predisposition, because as a goalkeeper, I dare say you'd have to be pretty vocal and you'd have to yell out instructions, which is pretty much what you could do as a coach, isn't it?
Yeah, I like to argue that when I'm in goal, I'm just, a bright traffic cop. I'm just out there trying to direct traffic and put my defenders where I need them and move my midfielders around just so I can set up my defensive bank. So I do joke that I'm very, very vocal out in the ground when I'm a goalkeeper, just setting that up. So from the side, I find that I've carried that part across well.
Yeah.
I'm finding that I'm trying to observe a little bit more, like have some belief in what's going on, let them sort it out in the park. So I'm adding that too, which that's been a good thing to add.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting. It's a great conversation because we've steered it in a completely different direction. We're going to talk about Barwon the season so far, and we will talk about that. But the fact that you're still a player, you're a goalkeeper, and kind of I just guess by opportunity, you've stepped into that role, and you're finding it quite an interesting and transition. But that's quite interesting. Jesse, tell us the season so far. Obviously, it wasn't a good season last year. The club found itself basically relegated from State 4, the then State 4, Northwest, to the new look State 6. And how's it been going so far?
It's been good. When we started the year, we had a really fresh team. A lot of players that hadn't played together. A lot of young players that hadn't played seniors men's football before. So from the very start, it's been a learning curve as we go for everyone, myself included.
Yep.
And we've really grown to that. We've had some tough weeks, but we've won 3 of the last 4, and we're really coming together, and we're believing in what we're doing, and we've all got this really good buy-in, and the culture around the place, the excitement's growing. Like, we've really grown through the season to get to this point where we're now up to 6th, and we're looking up the table rather than down.
Yeah, and there's the ladder on the screen at the moment. We can see, just as you said, in 6th position. But the more pleasing aspect is that, as you said, 3 wins out of the last 4 games. On the weekend, a massive win against Docklands Athletics, and there you go. Look, I mean, they've only got 1 loss, and that was inflicted by the Blue and White Army. There you go. Now, a tough game coming up this week as well, up against Maidstone United, who have actually jumped to top. I believe that is an old ladder. I believe they are on top at the moment, and that game's going to be at Scoville Reserve this Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. Tough game, but I mean, you're up for the challenge, obviously.
Yeah, certainly. It was a great photo of the table. Like you said, we took we inflicted Dockland's first loss onto them, so there's no reason to think that we can't do the same to Maidstone. I've said from the very start, it's a very tight league. It's a very competitive league. Anyone can beat anyone on the day, so we just have to come out with our effort and our intensity and our belief, and we can really knock anyone off on their day. So we'll go to Maidstone with a bag of confidence.
Well, interestingly, Ocean Grove, who are also from our region, they defeated the top-side Hume Bulls 4-1, and that further adds to what you were saying. Jack Banks, David Favetta, Patrick Scusa, and Oliver Hunneford scoring for Ocean Grove. But, I mean, that ladder almost doesn't do justice, does it? Ocean Grove in 3rd last position, but recorded a big win against Hume Bulls. Maidstone United now jumping up to top spot. So it's quite a competition of chaos, I guess, State 6, isn't it?
Certainly. So we're just trying to find our consistency through it. But we're finding that little by little. We're really putting in the performances now. And, as the more we play together, the more we build together, the more we believe in what we're doing, the better we'll be for it. We're just slowly and we're more every single week. We're adding just a little bit more quality into our training sessions, and we're bringing that onto game day. So it's really exciting. Like the group of lads have been fantastic.
Now, obviously,
where in Geelong can you get great food from such a wide-ranging menu? Friendly staff and a bar to enjoy drinks with friends? Live sport in the beer garden from Thursday nights to Sunday afternoons? Live music every Saturday night and every Sunday night? And our famous Grandma's Roast every Sunday lunch? Well, at the Elephant and Castle, of course. Situated on 158 McKillop Street in East Geelong, the Elephant and Castle has everything that you would want and need when you decide to have a night out on the town. The Elephant and Castle is the home of the Socceroos in Geelong. We'll be showing all Socceroos games live during the coming World Cup. For more information on all of our upcoming events or to book online, click on the book tab now on the Elephant and Castle website at www.elephantandcastle.com.au.
Group of lads have been fantastic.
Now, obviously, first-year coach, young coach, and you said yourself you're learning a lot of things. Now, how are you adjusting that training as you're going along? Is it just a case of the intensity is being now increased? Are you introducing new drills? Do you try and keep different variety, or are you kind of like experimenting with things that work and don't work. So many questions here, but how do you keep a young squad really, really on their toes as far as, training and intensity and focus, etc.?
Well, we're trying to make it an environment everyone wants to come to all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to make it really, really enjoyable. And what do people enjoy when they come to training? They enjoy playing football. And it's let's just make a lot of our sessions just about, playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Me, myself, and my two assistants, Matt Whelan and Gerard Whelan, who have been very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
At the start of every week, we meet, we talk about what we want to do for the week ahead, and then we try and tweak the match scenarios that we want to play out, and we try and tweak it with the focus on what we want to get out of it. So if we want to do something defensive, we'll try and maybe go lopsided on how we want to get players playing, just to try and get the defenders working on the defensive aspect. Maybe we'll force wide areas, we'll tweak the game scenario, but we want them just playing a lot of the time, just so they can get that chemistry with each other and get that enjoyment and get that competitiveness between each other. We want them to build as a group, just knowing what they're going to do on the park when they get out there.
Yeah. You play the squad itself. Has there been any standouts as far as on-field leadership is concerned? Who's your captain and leadership crew?
Cooper McCormack's the captain. He's been really, really good, and getting all the young boys into the group and making sure everyone feels welcomed and everyone gets a voice within the change rooms. Nathan Needs Whiskey. He's been a part of the leadership group as well. And we do have a few extra lads who, the older group that have been around the club for a little bit longer, they're a part of it. But we consider everyone in the club to be a part of the group. Barwon's not my club. Barwon's not anyone's club. Barwon's our club. So
yeah,
we try to make sure everyone has that voice to speak up and say anything, and especially because it's a young group and there's a lot of young guys. We have the leadership group of Cooper and Nathan particularly, making sure that everyone stays in line and everyone's positive and helpful to one another. But everyone gets that voice and everyone gets their opportunity to pitch in with what they think should be done or needs to be done. I'm very open. I like having that conversation with people. I do tell them, if you see something that you want to incorporate, let me know. We'll talk about it. We'll think about it, and we'll have that conversation.
Now, there's a lot of young players as well that have, been given an opportunity this year, because obviously it was a real rebrand, or not a rebrand, but a rehash of the squad in the off season. But I know coaches don't like to name players, individual players. But are there any of the youngsters that have sort of stepped up from last year's under-17s or the reserves teams that have been really impressive and that have really been inspirational to the squad as a whole?
Oh, that's a lot of the squad. We go as far back as the Cup game. We debuted, I think it was 3 players from the under-17s. William Sidarelli, Raman Barwon, and Harry Lauder. They all played that Cup game. And since then, Nathan Ormino is another teenager that's been in the team. Lockie O'Neill, unfortunately, got injured recently. So that's another teenager we've had around. So we've had a fair few teenagers come into the team and just pep us up a little bit. Nathan Ormino's been really steady at the back these last couple of weeks. Finn Murphy's got 8 goals this year, and I think it's 3 or 4 assists. So he's been really lively up front, giving us.
Is he the leading goal scorer at the moment in State 6 or thereabouts?
I think so. I'm not quite sure who is the leading goal scorer, but 8's got to be up there.
Mm-hmm. And having that target player up front, we've seen in the last few years, Barwon seems to be able to conjure up some really, really good strikers, really good target men. But this year, having Finn, as you said, scored 8 assists with at least 3 on several occasions, and that's certainly helped the team in these early stages of the season. But it must be great to be able to have someone that you can rely on to bang the goals away.
No, certainly. He gives us a real nice outlet of pace and physicality, and he's got a really nice shot on him. So it's been really, really good having that striker up front that we can believe in, and he has belief in the system. And if we give him the service on the day, we're bound to get a goal out of him. It's really, really good. It fits exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah. Now Barnes a big club. Registration wise, I'm not sure what the numbers these days are, but it's always bursting at the seams, and it's almost a capacity going from the community teams to the women's teams to the men's teams, etc., etc. But putting that all together, running that is a big job. And this year, the committee is headed by a new president, Mark Lawn. How's Mark and the rest of the committee found it, and how have you found dealing with the committee being a first year coach?
I found it to be all right. Mark's been fantastic to work with. He's very open, very clear about what he wants from it. And when we spoke originally about me wanting the job and getting the job, we spoke about wanting to create a culture where just everyone enjoys it, everyone wants to be down, everyone loves being around it. We feel that that's kind of been lost all around Geelong a little bit recently, but we're really trying to just bring that back, I want to be around Barwon, just watching anything, just kicking a ball, having some fun, because that's what it's all about. Like, that's what community is about. We want to make it a community. So he's been really, really good in that regard, and he's given a lot of belief in me taking this position and trying to push that forward. And he's brought the committee together to pushing for that ultimate goal. Like, I think this year we've had a lot of the clubs helping the club. So the seniors have been around to help out the juniors. I do some additional goalkeeper training for the men's goalkeepers and the women's goalkeepers. So we're really trying to, as a seniors group and as a club, trying to give back to the club and trying to help everyone out as much as we can. And we're only going to do that more and more as the year goes on. We've got 2 players, I think, coaching junior teams, and we've got a Sundays player coaching a junior team. So he's made it a community, a really community culture, and we're trying to give back to that as much as we can as time goes.
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear. It seems to be a recurring thing, as you say, that it has been lost a little bit. And I speak to a lot of clubs and they say something similarly. But at the same time, I speak to a lot of clubs who say they're addressing that very thing about creating a culture, creating a positive environment. Has that translated into bigger attendances on match day, with the juniors coming along to watch their senior coaches and stuff and players, etc.? Or have you noticed a bit more of a kind of a growth in match day attendances?
Little by little, I think we're getting there. When Ocean Grove played, we had a really nice crowd. A lot of people came down for that one, our local derby this year. We had a lot of people this last week. So I think we're slowly, step by step, getting up there. More and more people are coming back and sticking around to have a look. But it's not just the senior men's. I think a lot of the senior players come down for the reserves. Some of the senior players and some of the reserves then come down for the women's game that starts at 1 p.m. So we're trying to have everyone. We're trying to have more people attend all the games, so we can start our day. For me, it's 5 minutes down the road. I can start my day at 1 o'clock and watch all the games. So I think a lot of us can do that, and I think we are trying to do that. And we'll see the results of that for our senior games at 5:15 as the year goes on. But it's been an encouraging start. More people have been turning out.
Yeah, and it is a pleasant experience to go there on a Saturday evening, relatively early kickoff time, 5 o'clock, and this still allows you to go out for dinner later on, or to go to a party or whatever the case may be, or just go home and relax and watch something on television. So it's always a great experience to go down to Grovedale Reserve. Won't be able to happen. That won't be the case this weekend because you're playing away, but certainly thereafter that will definitely be something to look forward to. Jesse, we wish you all the very best in your first year coaching gig, and we also wish you all the best for the rest of the season. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Hopefully I can come back on with more good news as the year goes. But
we're going to hold you to that.
After every win. As more wins start coming in, hopefully I can come back on here and celebrate.
Good on you, mate. All the very best. And once again, thank you for joining us.
Thanks heaps, Tonchi. Pleasure to be here.
Good on you. Jesse Didulica, he's one of the growing crop of young coaches who are continuing their football career post-playing days, or in his case, he's still playing as well, but he's combining that coaching, specialist goalkeeping coaching as well. And look, after last week when we spoke to the Bell Park president, Rose Piratina, who really emphasised the importance of creating a positive culture at the club. There you go, at the Barwon Soccer Club, the same sort of situation, same sort of scenario is playing out. Folks, we're going to take a short break. When we return, it's time for that big announcement we talked about that we mentioned earlier today and we spoke about at the start of the show. So don't go away. We'll be back very, very shortly. And that, folks, brings us to the end of tonight's episode. Great interview that with Jesse Diddle. It's a fantastic young man, well-mannered, and certainly he's showing his credentials as a coach in only his first year of coaching, and that at senior level. Now, we talked about a major announcement. Well, some would say it's not a major announcement, but in many, many ways it is. For the last 2 weeks, we've had on Saturday on our Facebook page, the Geelong Region Soccer News Facebook page, we've had the traditional Super Saturday scoreboard post. And for the second week in a row, we have not had anyone contributing. Tells me two things. People aren't watching it, people are not interested, or simply put, people are just not interested at the end of the day. They either, like I said, haven't seen the post, are not interested in contributing. That's fine. That's all well and good. Look, we're going to give it a third attempt, if you like. And if it's a case of 3 strikes and it's out, we don't have enough support, well, we'll be canning the Super Saturday Soccer, which has become quite a regular thing over the last 6-7 years, maybe even longer. But is it a sign of the apathy currently reigning supreme in Geelong soccer? I don't know. Am I overreacting? Maybe. But it's not a good way to end this week's program. And certainly we've been sort of, it's quite demoralising to see that in Geelong we seem to be so fragmented, or maybe we're just not interested in taking our football to another level. Anyway, on that note, hopefully this week coming is going to be a better week. And may all your teams do very, very well. Hope they all win. Obviously, unless they're playing locally or in a local derby, then it's always going to be a case of the better team will win. Folks, have a lovely, lovely week. Fantastic week. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you again next Monday night for episode 188 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Good night. Bye-bye.